Testing. Oh, cool. And we're live. Okay, cool. Welcome to day 5 of Firebug. We are doing something special today. We're splitting up two smaller pieces because they are pretty much independent from each other. This one is 5A, where we are doing the calendar view. And that's this thing where it's like a nice little navigational. It looks very nice. Whereas over here, we just have a crappy little date picker. So we're going to do the calendar view in this one, and then we're going to do the authentication in 5B, which will probably take like 5 minutes. It's so easy with Firebase. So, all right, on to the job. This is make a working calendar view to navigate by dates. Okay, so and if you're following along in the future, you want to get your branch from the day 4.5 raw, and then start from there because that's where we're starting. Day 5 raw is where we finish. Okay, so let's go to here. And the first thing I'm going to do is basically rip out all the references to moment.js, because we're going to start using date functions, which is a more lightweight, I guess, more lightweight version of more lightweight date library. I guess I could say that. And that's because we're removing our dependency on the date picker. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and then I need to remove to date because that's all the conversions to date, which I no longer need. It's in here. I might also put this out here. Although this is kind of like the cathartic deletion phase, and I haven't quite earned it because I haven't introduced the new code. I just want to, I know I'm going to have to do a lot of these, like conversion from a moment to date, so I just want to get that out of the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the existing calendar, right, which is just the date picker before, and we're going to take that out. So I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this as well. And we are now going to install a bunch of date functions. But so first of all, let's see how this works, right? It's a bunch. It's essentially a field of divs on the planner.now.sh side. And it's a bunch of flex boxes in a flex box, right? So each line is a flex box. I don't think that's a very good usage of Flexbox. I think he just is familiar with Flexboxes. That's why he uses it. So we're going to use CSS Grid for that. And then we're going to steal the CSS individually. The other thing to note is that the movement of this, so you generate, based on each individual date, you stay within the same week. But as long as you move up or down, he's going to regenerate so that you always have 4 weeks in the past, and then whatever length of time you have in the future to click to, and that row always stays the same. So we're going to try and replicate that as faithfully as possible, and I think we're going to get pretty close. So first thing you do is yarn add date functions, because we're going to need a new date library. I'm not going to write that logic by myself. And what we're going to do with the timer is essentially, so we'll have okay, I'm going to make this a multi-line function because I know I'm going to need it. Return. Okay, so I'm going to pull card date off from the context. And the card date is now a real date, not a moment date. And I'm going to need to calculate the, let's pull up the date FNS docs. I'm going to need to calculate the start of that week. The search function is really good. So start of week. It's called start of week. What do you know? Excuse me. So I'm going to calculate the start of week. I'm going to be really boring with the names. Start week equals start of week and date. Yep. And then I calculate the 4 weeks before, and then I'll calculate an arbitrary. Just say I'm happy to go over because it'll just go off screen. So 20 weeks is my random. There's probably a better way to decide that, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to call that current week. And then to calculate 4 weeks before, I'm going to go for subtract weeks. There we go. From date functions. And while I'm at it, I'm going to get add week. Okay, so sub weeks from current week, and then I'll just say 4. And this is end week. I'll add weeks. 20. Okay, so I have all the dates I want. Oh, and then generate date range each day. There we go. Search feature is so critical. Const date. Generate date range. Date range equals to each day from begin week to end week. I guess that's it. Okay. So, and then for date range, we're going to do date range dot map date dot div date, something like that. While I'm at it, I don't want all the details of the day. I just want the date number. So I think that's a to date, but this is from JavaScript's to date. I think I could be really wrong on this. Here we go. JavaScript to date. I think I need date functions here. Date. Format. All right, I'll just use the format date. So hard to remember the way to, well, I guess, format these things, the APIs of what I need. Okay, so what I want D, no, I want DD, double D. There we go. All right. So that will get more complicated later on. But before we actually reveal and see what I screwed up, I want to add some CSS because I know I'm going to need some CSS, right? That's a very nicely styled component I have there. So I'll have JS on the left and JS on the right and CSS on the left. I will have my div be class name of calendar. Calendar is a grid with template columns of 1FR. It is. And then date, I probably don't need. We don't need a ton of. Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens. So that should recompile. State.current date to date is not a function. Okay. So app.js 44 is screwing up. And that's likely a dependency that I just forgot to, that I didn't find in my searching. App.js 44 to date string. Oh, I just didn't save it. That makes sense. Okay, all right, I can work with this. Let's see. So why is this? So there should be a grid. Why is this all laying out like that? Because it's display block. Display 9. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, it's the import again. Always. It gets me 100% of the time, every single time. Just because I've written this doesn't mean I have it yet. And then now I do. Always makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so, and then each individual cell, let's see. Each individual cell has this nice styling, so I'm going to go ahead and steal that. Okay, there we go. I don't need this guy styling because that has the date, that's the text in it. Okay, so this is, I'll call this calendar cell. And that goes in here. You can also use style components for this. In fact, this would be a very, very good use case for style components. I'm just not involving that unnecessarily. Is this style calendar cell? Oh, I haven't seen. I need to save files when I edit them. God. Okay, so it looks a little more presentable. And honestly, it's a little too big for my taste, but whatever. Okay, so what next? I want to see the red thing. That's really sexy. Okay, so it's clearly some sort of active indicator, right? So I'm gonna need a calendar cell active. This is kind of pseudo BEM style of CSS. I just don't like typing two underscores or whatever. Okay, so what that is an optional styling, right? So let's look at date and convert that. Okay, and const active class equals. Oh, I need a date comparison function. Date compare date and what's the current date? And if it's true, it will become calendar cell active. And then I'll put that into the class name. Okay. So I need a date compare function. That doesn't exist yet. So is equal. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm just, if it's wrong, we'll figure it out, right? So if it's equal, yeah. Does that do it? No, it doesn't. Yeah. Everything's false. I'm gonna have to debug. Everything should have a key, and the key is really, really easy for me to supply because I have a date. It's guaranteed to be unique. So no problemo. This is probably an issue with the date and the current date being weird. So here we go, console log date, current date, current date. All right, what do you got? Yeah, see the timestamps? I mean, why would you matter? Why would you same day? Okay. So maybe I need a same day instead of is equal. Seems more sensible. It's a lot of sugar. Are you gonna behave now? Please behave. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Go away. You've done your service. So now what we do is get the dots. You can't see them here because I've just done a very horrible job of setting up examples. But let's say I'm on June 26th right now, and I have a bunch of dates. And if I go forward, you can see that on the old June 26th, there's a little red dot here. I'm going to add a few more notes and have them show up. And you can see the red dots show up. So let's open up the console and see what they are in the hood. And it's really just a circular div. So there's a div that is the row, and then each cell is an A tag because they're using React Router. And then they have the content. We've done the content. And then there's a circular div if there's an active, I guess, note in there. So this is going to be a tricky one, and we're essentially going to have to pull in the to-do data and then parse it. So let's go for that. Let's also call this like a audit. Okay. And then I'll call a const has dot equals to contains to do, and then I'll get the to dos from props and the current and the date. So based on, I'm just assuming I have it, right? I'm kind of writing things back to front. So const to dos equals this dot props. That was terrible. Class, and this will be calendar and calendar. The reason I do that is because I want to put a higher order component around it. I'm going to pull that off from to-do list. That's the closest I have. I need to import my connect to Firebase. I guess there's some Firebase in here. And then I need my to-dos, pretty much all I need. So kind of a lot of ceremony for not a lot of gain, but you know, if I were writing this again, I might put the to-dos at the top level and pass it down to context. So and then instead of export default calendar, I'll have all this junk, and then I'll put calendar here. Yeah, it's not how you do it. Okie doke, okie doke. And because I have current state, oh, yeah. So I no longer need context here. Well, I need context. I don't need context here. That's interesting, huh? Okay, well, yeah, why not? Stick it in here, and then I'll stick it. Let's close this. I'll leave it. And then I'll take this out because I don't need you anymore. Oh God, this is it's a tricky operation. Get it right first time. I got to-dos for my props. I got handle date change for my props, and as well as current date or state, I guess. State for my props. I'm going to shift all of these guys up. and this goes away. Yeah, that didn't come out too badly. So, so now I have to-dos. The to-dos come in here. I need to write the comparison function contains to-do. And then once it has dot, it will say div dot, okay, whatever. So let's write the contains to-do function with to-dos and date. What that is essentially it returns a Boolean, and it says to-dos dot sum the to-do that has a to-do dot date and is same day as the date that that particular cell is from. Okay. That's it. Let's see work. Crash, burn. Oh, I screwed that up. Calendar, current date. I don't have a thing called current date? Sure I do. Yeah, it's right there. I don't have a thing called state. I don't need it. Arrays.sum is not defined. That's not true. Array.sum. Yeah. Oh. Sometimes it's empty, so I should return false when it's empty. All right. All right, you can see the dot over there. I need to copy over the styling, and then I should be good. So styling is, oh, I already have the styling. So the styling, what did I call it? Call it dotted. And the dotted, like that. These look good. Oh, beautiful. I need to get rid of that too. Okay, and then I need the month names, and then I think I'm done. So month names look like that. Let's give an example of the month name. No. Yes. Yes, that's you. All right. So the month name has this thing, has the, I don't know how they get this June to show up. Whatever, we're going to show June. And it's for the first of the month, right? So get date. Okay. I technically kind of don't need that, but I just don't even want to look up the version of that. So, all right, const has month, or yeah, all right, const has month equals to get date of that cell's day. If it's triple equals to 1, then well, if it's not equals to 1, then you're false. What am I doing? Triple equals to 1, and then what do I do? I will format the date to show the month. And that is has month. And if I do have the month, and I'll show the month. What am I doing? And styling for the month is purple. I'm kidding. do you do this? Oh, there you go. That's all cleared up. All right, let's see it. See it, let's see it, let's see it. Reload. Boom. How could that be easier? All right, the last thing is to make it reactive. Right now I'm clicking things and nothing's happening. So first of all, I like things to be cosmetic. So cell disappointed. So I can see my little nice glove here. But when I click it, it has to mean something. So that's where handle date change comes into effect. Oh, already have it here. So I need an on click equals to handle date change and then the date. Okay. April 10th. Show me April 12th. Show me April 9th. That's it. All right. So we have a working calendar function. Wasn't too bad. And in the next video, we'll do authentication on the left. So see you there.